Vanessa, let's welcome you to the program. We've been talking quite a bit about Davos over the last few news programs, but what's your take on what happened there?
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody is well aware that the Syrian foreign minister was present at Davos, but I just wanted to draw attention to something that was published by Davos actually back on the 9th of December. So then they were talking about what to expect and who's coming. Now, what's interesting, so this was one day after I actually left Damascus, and so one day after the fall of Damascus itself. And yet here they actually name Asaad Hassan al-Shibani, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Syria. So did Davos and WEF have full knowledge of what was going on inside Syria and who would be appointed the foreign minister? And then if we actually look at who this foreign minister is, this is from the Cradle, former Al-Qaeda in Syria founder, so he was a founder of Nusra Front in Syria, named as caretaker foreign minister. And who should interview him? None other than snake oil salesman himself, Tony Blair, former Middle East war envoy, and responsible really for the war against Syria since 9/11 in his relations with President Asaad from 2002 onwards. So let's just have a very quick look at part of the remarkably unpleasant interview, and I apologize in advance for forcing people to watch this again if they've already seen it.
And you've obviously got a lot of different minorities in Syria, Christians, Druze, Alawites. And how confident are you that this will be a Syria for all the people, given the history and the difficulties of the past?
I can say that now, as we Syrian people, we are victims of the sectarian government. And we are also victims of this language, and we refuse to use it for the future of Syria. We are not Syrian people, not divided into minorities. We are Syrian people, and Syria should be for all the Syrian people without any sectarian dividing, and also without to punish someone regarding on his background, social background, religious background, or sectarian group.
That was about as tough as Tony Blair got in his questioning, and his follow-up question was, what about women in Syria? And we'll come on to that, because obviously there are daily reports of atrocities committed by the HTS unelected government in Syria, still a proscribed terrorist group, conducting dozens of sectarian executions, kidnappings, and torture across Syria. And we'll just play one video that is not particularly gruesome, but it shows a young Shia Muslim man discovering that 3 members of his family have been murdered by the HTS terrorists. So if we can just play this.
يلا يلا دخيلك والله تلفت والله تلفت والله
His anguish is very obvious. And when we're talking about women, this is Dr. Rasha Al-Ali, who was a university researcher at Homs University and a member of the Arab Writers Union, who was kidnapped on the 20th of January after she objected to the imposing of a niqab law, wearing a niqab instruction at the universities in Syria. Her body was discovered on the 25th of January with her fingers amputated and signs of extreme torture. And obviously she was killed for her views about women in Syria. And equally, Syrian Christians, of course, all minorities are being faced with ethnic cleansing, displacement, torture, etc. But particularly Christians also, who are finding that their daily life is being affected very much if we look at what was actually written in the article. And they're being harassed to effectively conform to Islamic rules and customs. They're being asked to disarm, escalating incidents of violence towards religious minorities, and even the fact that buses are being boarded to ask the women and the men to segregate on the buses, etc. So basically all minority communities are suffering under the imposition of the rules of extremist Islamist government.
Thank you for that, Vanessa. We'll have more on this a little bit later. Now, coming back to the UK then,